You are watching Liberty Online TV.
This is Liberty Online TV powered by Orange Sierra Leone. Orange.
For the news we dey around, log into Liberty TV online. Positively we bring the change. They get the masses involved. Staff them everywhere. We climb the mountain just to get the news. We go down the slums to get the views. Hi yeah, hey, voices down. Hi yeah, credibility, now we ability. News, give you the views, the tell where you want them. Government issues, democracy, now we not the answer. We human them, girl picking, there's a get the power. He count on me, he count on me anyhow. Give you the news, give you the views, the tell where you want them. Government issues, democracy, now we not the answer. Human them, girl picking, there's a get the power. Call on me, count on me anyhow. Liberty we ride, like a nigga we fly.
A pleasant good evening and welcome to yet another edition of the Liberty Education Talk. We come to you live na Liberty Television, now Facebook, YouTube, and we website. Me will bring to this edition of the program this evening. My name is Al-Hassan Kuma. As usual, every Wednesday we can discuss issues relating to education across the country, and as well bring in Master Sabi people who can discuss about the education trend across the country. But of course, inside this edition of the program today, we will discuss about the exposure of drug substances, across school STEM in the country, and also bring on to you literature review. We'll talk about literature books, the importance of them. Now, the various schools across the country. You the watch, we go say we message to the number +23274 200 or you drop a comment now the platform also you the watch we this evening. Well, one for welcome. We guest now the studio. We now somebody we always on the cam now this particular program for discuss on trending issues and trending topics across the country. In the principal for the Advert International Preparative and High School, they will tune at the studio. Arthur Williams. Good evening, welcome to the program.
Yes, good evening.
All right, my pleasure. Forget you. Same way so also deal with somebody we also don't do remarkably well for improve on the education sector across the country. Now a commentator, so to speak, a literature commentator. It goes by the name of Abu Bakar Koma. Good evening, my pleasure. Forget you at the studio.
Pamela, good evening.
All right. Well, when I continue for the with me, family you the watch, we still they discuss on issues we get for do with the drug saga, and small beginning on the exposed to drugs related across the country. We get for do with Kush, in that of Tramadol. We now order of the day across the country. That we discuss inside this edition of the program, and also talk about the importance of literature and the aspects of the literature commentary as somebody we don't do that online. Now the different social media platform, it will explain to you the significance behind that. And you say we the watch we go say we message to the number +23274 200 We will start the conversation with the principal for the Advert International High School, Arthur. You've been in the teaching field for quite a very long time, and we know say this issue of drug substance, now the various schools don't raise some eyebrows, don't create some concern for Sahel unions, more especially now the education sector that we picking now expose. There is no that control again, in a school. Exactly. If they don't begin to go to primary school, the issue of drug, that's who they talk about, tramadol and kush. How is it that how we picking and day in our schools? Because a principal.
Well, first of all, the first side way I think I will begin is like where you say when it all reach primary school, drugs anywhere at any time, not supposed to reach anybody anywhere anytime. That's the first thing I want to say. And as usual, this trend started very slowly, but now it don't become extremely alarming to a point wherein people are like, we have to come out and say something about this, because the damage what this might do down the line 5-10 years from now, it's alarming. I'll just give a brief scenario here. I know most of us right now, as I talk, you know, people like you and some other people really above 25 will say, oh, thank God, are they above dandy? I mean, you sit in your gilded palace. I mean, you have your own little car, you cruise around, you get a well-paid job, your children are going to certain schools. Let me tell you something, a drug epidemic does not pick who that get for fall into them. So this thing, I might be sitting here raising issues, other people raising issues about this drug epidemic, and we need to take them very, very seriously, because when it gets down, it is the addiction that is the problem. The addiction is the problem. And when you get children addicted to drugs at the age of, say, in teenage years, it is a very, very serious problem. What's worse in that situation now is that when you get kids from 4 to 9, which is the primary school age, or say 10, actually start for take tramadol, now we have an issue. It is a national crisis, and for tackle this, it not just get for left with maybe with the principals, them, the head teachers, the headmasters, or the parents, them. This is something where the government get for sit down, look at it from a holistic point of view. For example, let's take one school. The teacher pupil ratio is 60. Okay, that's just one thing. Now, one picky booty they sleep. Most say don't take tramadol, booty they sleep. That teacher they get the time for monitor 60 picky that class. School they come out 12 o'clock. That teacher they get 6 or 8 periods for teach. Throughout, I'm just talking about primary schools. What time does that teacher have for give assignment in Macam or classwork for Macam? Teach you picking an ABC, for example, make them go on board and read on their own. Nonetheless, pay individual attention to each and every picking and know what they go on with them at any given point in time. So you go find out, say, in schools that where you get 60 picking in a one class, this is becoming a very serious problem. And the people that way it hit most are the people who can't afford for take care of them, picking them. So, and most of because if you get 90% of them picking there, they go school, most of them they below or just above the poverty level, you will find out, say, most of them picking there, they get for civil service jobs, they go for field drivers, they go for talk care and everything. As I talk to you, so right now, for make a common a problem, because almost 90% of all the drivers then they on tramadol or kush. That's like you say for free.
Okay, well, you continue for this with Arthur Williams in the principal for the Advent International School. We talk about the exposure of harmful drug substances na the various schools across the country. In case you just join we, this now the Liberty Education Talk. We always they come to you live now with different platforms as we discuss about this trending issue across the country. Don't forget, say yourself go send we message to the number +23274 200 545. We discuss about 2 issues so far inside this program on the drug-related issue at the various schools across the country, and also we talk to somebody where we don't play a key impact at the education sector. Abubakar Kuruma, we are the founder for Commentary R. You know, Abubakar, let me discuss on these aspects of Commentary R, how this initiative can, because we don't see plenty of the books that we don't popularize and all. So tell me, what in this mean for the education sector and how do they go about this one?
Well, this mean a lot because men are a victim of books that we are reading not to Saloma right. And so when I start me junior school up to senior secondary school, I complete I think 90% of the books that we are reading are foreign books then. and are foreigners and writer. But not to say saloon books have not been there. They've been there, but maybe are not big opportunity for see, read, and know about them. So now from that background there, I decide for come with the commentary hour. We exclusively talk about salon book and salon author. Anything else for do with reading books, writing our stories, one salon man business, then they about for talk about them. I could talk about them, I comment on that book today, and make sure say we go out for books then, familiar ourselves with the stories then, and take ownership of the stories then.
Okay. Many times people only deliberate on the aspect of literature books and like you mentioned, there are Sierra say we don't write plenty of books. But when you look at the curriculum, you know, with the season are more foreign authors them books that we use now the Becker and that of the WAS. You know, how you were able to explain to the public that we have more Sierra Leonean literature writers, people who write these books, and within government or the Ministry of Education for do and show say we popularize, we author them books and bring them into the curriculum as well.
So in terms of curriculum, we get books that Solomon writes who it tailor in line with the curriculum. We got our books on novels, you know, they out of the curriculum. Now, if you read A1 Government, authored by Marcos Bangura, or you read A1 Politics, History, authored by Marcos Bangura, you read Salon since independence. These are curriculum-tailored authored books. Okay. So you read many things about Salon, history, Salon politics, Salon governance, and so much. But if you go into novels, like this book also, A True Patriot in Sierra Leone, authored by Kemia Kamara, it tells you more about other things about life, and not necessarily for tailor with curriculum. Okay. Then books like you read at university level, at school level, literature now also means in a past you get book where government assign, because we they read forget wider knowledge. Recently, Alaji Tawali wrote one book about what they call brain drain. It's all about how Africans they don't left home, go to the rest of the world, develop put the resources, and not get much again for offer home. Okay. So if I not say significant to lag behind. So then books there it gets a lot of impact. If at all we they read with story then, and most people are follow we write with story then. Sometimes I can feel bad for what to hire somebody for carry the board to be economics. Come on, we know our markets the pass now Kutuwood. We know fish price they change. We know mango the Bokuna country. We know mango the scared. So I'm not if we go hire auto from outside salon for can tell you about how the dynamics will involve in that. I'm not if we go hire somebody from America for can tell you how politics. I remember the first ever glance PR na Marcos Bangura book I read more about PR. But then our constitution. But when they discuss about Andy, on our post they write exclusive about that topic. But these are contemporary issues we will write about. We can say theory book and theory na black and white, we value than we post in talker. So then book that then they auto and they don't write a lot of books then.
There is one problem we most people can say the aspects of Sierra Leoneans don't have the courage to read. This is the problem, and they try for popularize the literatures there and how important it is for like every Sierra Leonean. They read novels, which there are a lot of information so we can get through the novel books and all that. But we have many Sierra Leoneans. I don't feel say now only somebody within an art stream. Although my principal there as well gets more experience when it comes to literature because he's in the art stream and all. Because that knowledge, the notion of reading books is centered on students within the art stream. How you able for navigate through that?
The question is interesting. Because literature not get barrier. Literature not get say, no, you are a science student, you not write, you not read. And the culture of reading, I will agree with you, yes, somehow they calm down. Because we not big of books then. But I will tell you, say, culture of reading, they read. If I can take you through one of the most educated person in the world, Dr. Ibrahim Bangura. na Solomon, he also passed 35 books. He must have been a good reader. Okay, so Solomon they read, but because books then some are not accessible or available, so we tend to read books. I would tell you say, then they read novel and pass Monday. Yes. So the culture of reading, even though encouraging, but we they read. And I'm sure if we write many books, the culture of reading increase. Because like we say, catch it when they're young. Like we principally now, so if we every time we get people who read at least one Solomon book. Believe me, in the next 4 or 5 years, with the boast of hundreds of writers, hundreds of readers. So the culture will improve.
All right. Continue for day 3. In him na Abubakar Koma, in the founder for Commentary day 2 in the studio. Continue for say we message to the number +232 74 200 545. The program we watch now, the Liberty Education Talk, we always come to you every Wednesday. Now with different social media handles, now Facebook page and our YouTube channel, and also now Liberty Television. Continue for watch as we discuss issues we get for do with literature, and also we did discuss about the aspects of drugs we don't circulate now the different school system across the country. What we need for do as a nation for ensure say we minimize the spread of drugs across them various school system. That make we discuss them issues that are not the program. After we don't first discuss about these aspects of this drug, like you mentioned, say it's not only moving to the primary school, but the aspects of the nation as a whole, they into a problem as we speak now. So as a principal, waiting we for do or waiting the schools then need for do for make that particular environment safe, because if the parent don't let him pick and go school, it expects say there should be that kind of security in the school for them picking this. So waiting una as schools then for do for ensure say una back involved in the fight against drug.
Well, I can tell you from a principal's point of view is that principals and they do a lot for ensure that this thing does not seep into their schools. Because I do talk with my colleagues, and they monitor the picking them very, very strictly. But this thing, it's a like I said, it needs a holistic approach. That picking awake in the morning, and mama don't get a lunch, you don't buy it tramadol, you don't drink it. Not to school you drink it. But yet, when you don't take it tramadol, it might choke somebody at the school. Or a wait till you don't come on school, you save you lunch, you go drinking tramadol. But it take what you get for take. So the parents have to be very, very extremely vibrant, where leads me to something else where again, now like I said, it's a very critical topic, because you get to realize is that 50% of our kids are in single parent households. 50% of them, and almost 90% of them 50 parent households, and their mama or papa they go work. So that is the first issue with these kids. So basically, let people the men themselves. And when you put in now the issue of social media, then picking and then when the mama no problem and get them phone. This is something I am totally against, giving your kids phone at the age of 2. You never know they might pick up from that thing. You never know. You don't give picking phone, you don't pick up so many things out of it. You know they cannot stay 6 o'clock. That's the first thing. Then that picking go school. Yes, in a school like Calvert School, when we teach our people ratio to at least 10 or 12, we know every picking you put you 1 minute, you put you on 2 minutes, you ask you what's from, come here. Let me see, why are you sleeping? We'll go check you. And if we have an issue with you, we know exactly how to handle them. We'll give you guidance and counseling. We'll call your parents then. We'll talk to your parents and we'll try for understanding the problem. And then we'll suggest ways and means by which you could get there. And we'll not go left that picking there. We'll go there with them until that problem is solved. That is just Alvet. But what about the other hundreds of schools out there where there are 80 picking a class? Where maybe the teacher not fortunate enough to pick up on that one picking day. He goes with that. That picking is 8. Now you talk about reading. Where did that picking go read? if you don't take tramadol? How can you get? We'll not even talk about the health impact of a child at the age of 8 taking tramadol. You never know what it might do to his kidneys, his bladders, his brain. It produce dopamine where it's not supposed to produce. You never know how that might change a kid biologically speaking. That's the first. You never know how it will damage and psychologically down the line. So, as I talk, so I really appeal. And you know, the funny thing is, I mean, a few years ago, we have this save the girl child, don't whatever the girl child. It was everywhere. You sneeze, go, yeah, girl child. But you not they hear, I'm sorry, Madam First Lady, I have to call you out on this. You are not hearing the First Lady say anything about this drug epidemic. The government has to come out and deal with this thing. It is our kids. It is our kids, for crying out loud. And it is, if you see as they talk about, it is getting really serious. In 2 years' time, we're not going to get picking and self go sabigid. We're not going to get picking. If you notice the drivers, 90% they're on tramadol. They don't know rules. They don't care. This they turn on and want. Then they look at I read. Then they so you look at them. They are all over the place. That is the problem.
So
they might
also, you know, if you say this give more pressure to the teachers them with regards taking, you know, disciplinary measure against them. Because people don't take kush or tramadol. You're not even one for listen to within the teacher they say.
So now you know how difficult the life of a teacher is. Because obviously, if, for example, I've identified that this child has a problem, not for bitter, it has a whole approach you get for implement. So, but if you're in a class now, again, now 60, 5 picking they take tramadol or kush. Who said this year will start? That is the question I'm asking the entire nation right now watching me. As a teacher, where would you start? So if, for example, one public school has 20 classrooms, 5 of the picking per class, they take tramadol. You have an epidemic right there. Where are you going to start? Do we have the thing for rehabilitate there? Is the government training guidance and counseling centers? What is happening? Where would you start? How the home? Does the child get full meal? Who said they get access to this thing? How? Do we have investigative people who will trace all that thing for fixer picking in life? We don't. That is what, this is the issues I am raising right here. We not get them. And if we left this, we'll come to a point when our children will not be educated. They will not be educated.
Continue for the tweet and name now Arthur Williams. A very interesting conversation. And this now, you know, a wake-up call is a national fight. And we in Liberty Television don't prioritize the aspects of the fight against drug na the country. And of course, that's why if you watch Liberty Television, most of the programs we want to discuss extensively on drug-related issues across the country. Continue for say we message to the number +23274200545 as they look at 2 issues: the issue of the significance of literature and the spread of drugs na the different schools them across the country. I go turn the mic to Mr. Abubakar Kuruma as we don't talk about this literature aspect and the novel books that we people for ensure say read on a normal basis so far. So how you talk about this commentary hour? Because you are the founder for commentary hour.
So I can talk to people we don't write book, and then either I buy the book or so then can volunteer give me the book. I read the book, I do quick summary of the book, and then I share on social media. But only it's happening because the knowledge about Salon book is small. So I reach out to other schools, I reach out to other institutions then, I tell them about the books there, tell them about the authors there. And sometimes someone is surprised, say, for say this kind of book there, for say this kind of author there, when I do some random check, I find out say beautiful the only author post is Salomon they remember or they kind of mind quick. Ideally. But to get people who write books since John Acker and this up to this people who write book. You know, I remember my own time, primary days, I remember this man called B.B. Cooker. Some of do quantitative and verbal aptitude. we don't anime come up in the 90s. Yeah. So we now get beaucoup people know about salon book or salon authors, but we get plenty authors in. Young authors in. Me fear na this like me principally say. If at all we not control push, it means say we not get good writers in and we not get good readers in. And so next years to come, we nation will rely on AI. We go make the human think cleverly. Because AI not can replace human intelligence, that can help human intelligence. But because of the way push the rampage, the youth man and now we see now we feature people and or the leaders in, it means that we literature space. We're not able to compete with any author across the world. Not to say like on healthy way. In a healthy way, wherein if somebody produce good book, publish good book, we sell a book, publish good book where they read them worldwide. Yeah. No, so
that reminds me, just like you talk about this push tramadol, they hit into the fabrics of the education sector. When we be in school, there was a popular book where we read, doing with them, that was Things Fall Apart. Yes. When one of the most popular literature book them, you know. And those days when you are going to school, that I think is about 24, 25 chapters of that book. Plenty school picking and they will go get themselves familiarized with 10, 15 of the chapters. We go for give speech from this particular speaker saying that this is say the cocoa, you know, the baker and also. But for now, it's difficult for C picking to narrate issues of literature books them. We then they do in school. I see you get this book where two patriots in Sierra Leone. Is a Sierra Leone an author?
Yes.
Right. We came out. So just very small about within this book they talk about.
So this book is about patriotism.
Okay.
You know, a work where they do without or anticipation of money. You do without any expectation for say supposed to give me money. Then okay, now the author term as patriot work. And one reference, one category we use now the police. In as much as get bad police, but also get good police officer there. And so it portrays the character of police, good policeman there, where they work throughout the day, irrespective of the situation, they are committed to their work. Whether good or bad, they are always there. So somebody, if they ask me a question about this salon, we need to see salon books and either a public exam or that we get. And I think 2024 to this date, we have one of we author Elizabeth Eli Kamara. We write a poem called A New Thorn. Okay. The new thorn about the contemporary don't replace the old. We practice them. The nowadays practice over don't replace the old days practice. Even Kema mentioned about the practice today. You say community parents and the men picking, but now the parents don't allow community parents and men who picking there. The moment community person going to picking, you feel offended. But that person when they do that job, now in pay to work, you are not paying him. Imagine you know they like come me teacher they talk. You don't go work. You can now say 6 o'clock. But that community, then do the picking. If the picking do bad, so tell them discipline now. This generation, come on, a court case standing. You know, so the community when they do without any expectation, say then they can't pay me. Trade, they need pay me. They not get that thing they say, suppose you can't pay me first because I take off in picking. Suppose you can't pay because I teach in picking. You know, so the patriots it cuts across the country, even among teachers. We people do extremely well. Whether money no day, they do their job. Then go to school, then teach, then they do what they're supposed to do for the betterment of a country. So this book, it means a lot for this with dispensation. Who believe say, if I want to achieve, I will put the money first, or the fame, or the popularity before I achieve. No, this book they tell you say we can do it irrespective of situation.
Okay. Yes. I continue for day 3. Fambul in him na Abubakar Kuma in the founder for commentary and somebody with popularize the literature books and how important and significant now the education sector. In case you just watch, this is not the Liberty Education Talk. We always come to you every Wednesday, as we always discuss about issues surrounding the education sector across the country. As time done the bet with Kanga One, they turn the mic now to Weibo principal for the Advert International High School, winner Arthur Williams. We don't talk about the effects to the picking them. Okay. Make I just ask this question: if also the teachers involved in taking tramadol, okay, you know how it will look like now the education sector.
Well, again, you're asking all the questions, which shows how, pervasive, how endemic it don't be. Because if teacher they take tramadol, pikin they take tramadol. The pikin where they class 4 they take tramadol. But they are my family not tell me, who say planning will come out? How can we encourage critical thinking skills? This is what I tell my kids. Okay? You can school so that you're able to enhance your critical thinking skills. So when you sit as a president, you have 15 to 30 ministries. You get possible like what's not do, lights not do, and then you have 1,000 leons to solve 50 problems. That is why you're educated. So you can think your way through that. But if you teacher don't take tramadol, teacher ain't don't smoke in Kushianda. I can give one good example of what you're saying. At the time I was working with an NGO, I won't say that, I used to go around for supervised teachers in a cluster of schools from the Tonkolili axis. I would not forget there was one school I went to supervise, and this is for real. I go there and I meet the teacher, in Kane, and they dance A, B, C, D, E, F. I was like, seriously? 9 the other teachers say, hey, you see where they under so? He said that all the teachers don't care, they all go to Jamba farm. They don't go digging Jamba farm, they don't water the Jamba farm, they all don't smoke. This is not a joke. And I can't in kind of class the high one. This is not a joke. This is something I've seen for myself in Tonkolili, in a village, in Sierra Leone. I have seen that. So I know the dangers of waiting at the talk so. We as an NGO may put a stop to that. But that's why we may go around and check all the teachers and then we make the children farm, stop the farm because it's injurious to them picking and they. But let's say them picking and they don't mean get that NGO for look after them. What do you think would have happened? You see, so the reason why they say it's like I said, it is a holistic approach. In some cluster, right, some parents and they might be able to protect them picking them. Some parents then cannot. The more the poverty line they hit you, the more vulnerable these kids are.
So my final question for you, Arthur, as we decide for round of this conversation, what's the message you want for left to the public? Because the public also they engage. You know, because there was somebody will be there allegedly they say one lady they will gonna school them for sell this tramadol. So they will be the message for the community people for deviate from this aspect because the fight is for everybody.
Well, like I said, it's tough. It's tough. Again, for schools like us, we are fenced. We're gated, and you cannot just walk in, we get gateman, you cannot walk in and do those things. But again, how can you stop someone from doing that? The principal in our office, teachers are teaching. That picking common ado for go wet. Somebody should not corner, maybe now Friday said they sell them. How can you stop it? Without you having investigative people and then they investigate, they keep an eye on this picking and do we have the budget to do that? So what me go appeal is that the government get for sit down and look at this thing from a holistic point of view. Not for just, free education is nice. It's very nice. But there are other aspects to free education in which other sides of society, they affect the impact of free education, free education will have. One of them is drugs. So you might allocate 30% of your budget for feed the nation. But if you have drugs, they sap 99.9% of that is that 30% of your budget where you allocate, where you take care for health and other things. Is it actually worth? You're wasting that money, sorry to say, because you have something else to eat into for the next 10 generations. Because when you get up again at 9, don't begin to take time at all, it follows down that line. And it's taken a long time for them for break. So at the appeal to Papa government, at the appeal to the ministry, we have to sit down and fast. So we have to sit down very, very fast, draw policies, get in line with the FSU, develop things, guidelines, sensitize, develop guidance and counseling units in all of the schools. Make sure we get trained teachers, psychologists, more get investigative units, and people that will go there around for monitor the sale of these things in schools and the surrounding of schools, and get the police for support this, and get a whole unit dedicated for keeping drugs out of schools.
All right, many thanks. Arthur Williams,
yes, sir.
You join me. Pleasure to have you.
You're welcome, sir.
All right, we go turn the mic now to Abubakar Kuma. We now, the founder for Commentary. I'm really do a lot of job because I don't follow you on Facebook and plenty other social media platforms, and one for encouraging for continuing a good job, because it's not easy for issues that we get for do with education, for popularizing across the country. So as we try to wrap up the conversations, what's your next plan on this initiative moving forward?
Well, they encourage the public, Salonians in general, for the buy Salon books, then read them. And also come the 5th of December, we the award people who don't contribute to the literature space. Not necessarily BC, not to author no more. We get people who read book. We get some man who they give the space for talk about book, like Liberty TV, so they don't go the space for talk about the book. So you also contributors to the literature space. We get people who then they market the books then. We they encourage the author there for do launching, for publish the book, encourage the author for do research. All the people who they get the award come on the 5th of December. Later days all Belia Park Duazak. Of course, you put to everybody nomination they go now. You can nominate who you want for the various awards. We get best author, veteran author, get people who are consistent writer there, consistent readers there, get people get different awards there. If you go through a page, you will see the release of awards, and then you go nominate who you want for nominate. And please, at the appeal to the public, our books are all over the country. At least try to get one. And to the school, we have to work with now. Yeah, we make una get novels then. Sure. We get good information then. And I got opportunity for meet with the Salon Film Council. Okay. Also, I'd appeal to that. Let them use books then and script movie out of books then. Thank you so much.
All right, many thanks. We join me, Abubakar Kuma, the founder for Commentary. It's always a pleasure. Liberty Television is always open for you, especially when we discuss about issues that we get for. It's a pleasure to have you.
Me too, man.
And also many thanks to you when I send a message when able for you. One for appreciate you. Continue for watching Liberty Television as always. Every Wednesday we can discuss about the education trend across the country. I also want for say many thanks to my principal Arthur, because now be able for glow me up, say, hey, this thing is going on, this issue of these drugs across the country. We need to discuss it. I want to appreciate you so much. And many thanks to my studio technician, we now Samuel Thomas, we able for bring to you clear pictures of this edition of the program. So we'll meet again for another edition of the Liberty Education Talk. We will bring to you this edition of the program. My name is Al-Hassan Kuma. Stay blessed and get yourself a comfortable night. Bye-bye.
For the news we dey around, log into Liberty TV online. Positively we bring the change. They get the masses involved. Staff them everywhere. Recline to get the news. We go down the slums to get the views. Hi, yeah, hey. Voices come. Hi, yeah, hey. Credibility, now we ability. News, give you the views, the tell where you want them. Government issues, democracy, now we not the answer. We human them, girl picking, that's a get power.